Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Hurricane Hermine lashed Florida's northern Gulf Coast with powerful winds and driving rain before it weakened to a tropical storm overland and headed toward the Atlantic coast. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Andrea is off. There's nothing close to that around here, thank goodness. But a lot of us are wondering what it's going to be like for rain, maybe thunderstorms, as we start the extended holiday weekend. Let's check in with Justin for the latest on our forecast. Justin?
And thank you, Mike, and good evening, everybody. Yeah, we saw mainly sunny skies out there for today, but a few more passing clouds are starting to make their way in, especially as you make your way off to the north and off to the west of the valley, with just a few passing sprinkles, especially approaching the Devil's Lake area and the Carrington area just off to the west of Jamestown. We have that breezy southerly flow between 10 and 20 miles per hour with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. And with that, we were warm today. Temperature at 78 degrees right now at Fargo, lower 70s Bemidji and Alexandria, and mid-70s Devil's Lake and Langdon. Now, as we go through later on tonight, we will see a few more passing clouds, but temperatures will make their way through the 70s into the upper 60s as we go through this evening. We're going to see more active weather as we go through the later part of the weekend and to start next week with a chance for severe weather. We'll have the details later in the newscast.
All right, let's hope for the best. Thanks, Justin.
Yep.
September is National Preparedness Month. Our long holiday weekend may be a good time for you to make an emergency plan if you're getting together with family. Disasters like the one you see on your screen from 2007, that's the I-35 bridge collapse in Minneapolis, quickly caused a cell phone outage as the system became overwhelmed. Natural disasters like winter storms can leave people stranded for days. The experts recommend that you put together an emergency supply kit, including food and water that can be kept with your family in the area for at least 3 days. It's also important to have a backup communication plan.
If you have power, social media is the best tool. Like I said, you can set up a family Twitter account, and if you don't know how to do it, your kids do, and they will help you. Look into some of those Red Cross applications that you can put it right on your phone. They're free, and you can use those to check in. There's Facebook, of course.
If you'd like more information on this, we have a link to it online. Just go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story. Remember, you can stay up to date on your weather conditions where you are anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just download the Storm Team weather app to get the latest weather conditions and even follow the radar live. Search VNL Weather in the App Store. Nationally, newly released numbers show positive job growth, but not as much as anticipated. Unemployment rates have remained steady. Employers have slowed down hiring, and wages aren't going up. Out of the people who can work, 62% of them currently have a job. Valley News Team's Nicole Johnson reports on what's going on with hiring in our metro area and what college students should be watching out for.
If you want a job in Fargo-Moorhead working in the service industry, it's yours. The area is still in a workforce shortage, according to Carrie Fry at Job Service North Dakota.
Here in our area in healthcare, it's just wide open. I mean, if you are a nurse or a CNA or something like that, you can get a job in the Fargo-Moorhead area really easily.
While hiring has slowed nationally, Fry says there are more jobs than people here, and we're continuing to grow.
I think that those employers are doing and will continue to do more and more creative things to get employees to come here and work and stay in our community.
Many are counting on college students to fill service and retail jobs, but college students looking for a specific career should pay attention to what's happening around the country.
Doing some labor market research before you pick a career should be every student should be told to do that. I mean, we should be telling them at high school that, you know, geez, you are looking at doing this, you should really look and see what the job outlook is going to be for that career.
To be honest, I haven't thought about that until like a week ago, if we're being honest.
Rolanda Blay isn't letting unemployment numbers get in the way of her dream career.
In my opinion, the way I am, I'm very strong-minded. If I want something, I'm going to get it, and I'm not going to stop until I have it. So that doesn't scare me. I'm determined to become a police officer.
It's less about how many openings there are and more about how and when you apply, according to Fry.
If you're going to be graduating with an education degree, you don't want to wait until the summer before school starts to start looking for a job. It's those kinds of things.
Those kinds of things that will land you a job. In Fargo, Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
Fry says that one reason some people can't find a job is because they aren't able to complete the application using the computer. Either they don't have the tools, skills, or can't speak English well enough. The Job Service of North Dakota can help with that if you're in need. They are located on 13th Avenue and 32nd Street in South Fargo. Carl Ben Eielson middle schoolers are already learning how to get hired. 8th graders spent the day creating companies with solutions to real-world problems. They worked in teams and came up with businesses that were judged by counselors, business owners, police officers, and nutrition service personnel. Some examples of the challenges: reducing texting and driving, containing an oil spill, and halting a contagious virus epidemic.
It's not so much about getting a job, this is what it's like in the real world, and these are the skills that they'll need to be successful, not just in the real world, but in high school and college and kind of beyond that.
131 students were taking part in today's competition. At least $75,000 of damage is estimated right now after water flooded much of the John E. Carlson Coliseum earlier this week. A break in a pipe flooded the arena with thousands of gallons of water. A Park District official says the damage is not likely to be covered by insurance, and the costs could go higher depending on the approach taken to fix the broken pipe. The Coliseum is scheduled to undergo a major renovation next year. Those renovations will factor into the pipe repair issue. The arena is expected to be ready to go when the hockey season begins. A teen accused of attacking and trying to kidnap a woman at West Acres Mall nearly 2 years ago has been found guilty. A Cass County jury convicting Abdirahman Sahil. He was 15 at the time of the attack, but his case was moved to adult court. Police say the victim was walking to her car when Sahil attacked the woman with a gun on the west side of the mall. After the death of a 30-year-old man, police in Grafton are warning people about the presence of fentanyl in that area. Eugene Meckham died in late August, and police say his death is linked to fentanyl. Fentanyl is a powerful narcotic with a high potential for a fatal overdose and a high probability of addiction. Here's a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. Reina Perez is wanted for failing to appear for a 24/7 program and a probation violation on felony drug charges. Her picture's up on the screen right now. Call your local law enforcement agency if you have any information on her whereabouts. One person is dead after being hit by a truck. It happened in Becker County. 38-year-old Andrew Eidenschink of Detroit Lakes was driving his truck near the intersection of Highway 59 and Brolin Beach Road when he hit a pedestrian. The name of the person hit was not released. Minnesota State Patrol is investigating. 2 people involved in a deadly head-on crash in Barnes County have been identified. 64-year-old David Roll from Lemoore died in that crash. Troopers say that Roll and 53-year-old Stephen Sauter from Catherine, North Dakota, collided when Sauter crossed the center line just north of Catherine Wednesday night. Sauter's injuries are unknown. He is facing DUI charges. In Grand Forks, police are trying to track down a dog that bit a woman. It happened last night at the Lincoln Park Dog Park. Officials say a 21-year-old UND student was playing with her dog when it was attacked by a long-haired German Shepherd. The woman was bitten on the leg when she was trying to get her dog away. Anyone with information should contact Grand Forks Police. Police in St. Paul are asking for the public's help in finding the people responsible for car tipping. Recently, cops found a car to go rolled over. They say a witness saw 4 men between the ages of 18 and 20 leaving the scene in a tan SUV. I want to show you a police photo of another car to go flipped over just a few hours later and a few blocks away.
People use these cars for going to appointments, possibly going to their jobs. People that can't afford a car, so they're using this hourly service as a means of transportation.
Police say the individuals who did this face a felony charge of criminal damage of property. An invasive species of macroalgae has been confirmed in Lake Winnipegashish in Itasca and Cass counties, Moose Lake in Beltrami County, and Rice Lake in Stearns County. It's called starry stonewort. Starry stonewort are grass-like microalgae that may produce dense mats which could interfere with the use of the lake. The invasive algae also may choke out native plants. It's typically spread by lake users who transport fragments of the plant from an infested body of water. Well, they sprayed in the FM area earlier this week, and tonight it's Grand Forks and East Grand Forks where the battle against mosquitoes is being waged. Weather permitting, the trucks will be out between 7:30 and midnight and will be traveling at about 10 to 15 miles per hour while spraying. Vector Control is advising you to limit outdoor activities between dusk and dawn, when and to wear long pants and long sleeve shirts when possible. Tonight on Valley News Live 10 at 10, some people get bit and others don't. What's up with that? We'll take a look into the problem with mosquitoes. Time to enjoy the benefits of a growing season, right? Well, later on Valley News Live at 6, where you can go to get homegrown vegetables.
And we saw a high of 80 today, a little above normal. We stayed dry too. That'll change as we complete the weekend. We'll have the details coming up next.
You're watching Valley News Live on TV, online, and on the go. Always on, wherever you are, whenever you need to know. Valley News Live.